Alligator Alcatraz may be shut down before Halloween. Florida already has a backup plan. Nearly 2 months after the hasty and controversial birth of Alligator Alcatraz, a federal judge has slammed the brakes on the operation, ruling that no more detainees can be sent to the remote migrant detention camp deep in the marshy wetlands of the Everglades. Built in just a matter of days, the facility garnered sharp criticism for its treatment of migrants who have been confined in cages amid sweltering heat, bug infestations, and meager meals, prompting members of Congress and state representatives that witnessed the conditions to demand its immediate closure. U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams on Thursday issued a preliminary injunction in a federal lawsuit filed by environmental groups and the Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida. The Miccosukee Tribe, a Native American tribe whose reservation lies within miles of the facility, raised serious concerns about the impact the facility will have on their land and the environmentally sensitive area, including the plants and animals that inhabit the Everglades. The project creates irreparable harm in the form of habitat loss and increased mortality to endangered species in the area, Williams said in the order. A preliminary injunction is a temporary order put in place until a court can make a final decision in a case. The state has initiated an appeal of the judge's order, a spokesperson for the Florida Attorney General said in a post on X. We got news last night that we had a judge try to upset the apple cart with respect to our deportation and detainee processing center down in South Florida at Alligator Alcatraz. I just wanted to say this was not something that was unexpected, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said at a news conference Friday. We knew that this would be something that will likely happen and we will respond accordingly. We're not going to be deterred, DeSantis said. We are totally in the right on this. DeSantis is doubling down on immigrant detention centers in his state, including the announcement of a new immigration detention facility he dubbed Deportation Depot, which can hold as many as 2,000 detainees. For now, the installation of any additional industrial-style lighting is prohibited, as is any paving, filling, excavating, fencing, or erecting any additional building or tents at Alligator Alcatraz. The order also mandates no detainees beyond those currently housed at the facility can be moved there. Lighting, fencing, and all generators, gas, sewage, and other waste receptacles that were installed to support this project, and added to Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport must also be removed within 60 days of the order, Williams said, effectively shutting the facility that's become a centerpiece of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, which Americans largely oppose. Alligator Alcatraz remains operational, and we will not stop in our mission to detain, deport, and deliver for the American people, Florida Attorney General James Othmeier said in a social media post Friday. Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin condemned Williams' ruling as an attempt to derail the Trump administration's immigration crackdown efforts. This ruling from an activist judge ignores the fact that this land has already been developed for a decade, McLaughlin said. It is another attempt to prevent the president from fulfilling the American people's mandate to remove the worst of the worst, including gang members, murderers, pedophiles, terrorists, and rapists from our country. Williams was nominated by former President Barack Obama. In June, she found Othmeier, who has championed Alligator Alcatraz, in civil contempt of court after he appeared to publicly defy her order to pause a new state immigration law making it a crime to enter Florida illegally. DeSantis also called Williams an activist judge at his briefing Friday. This is a judge that was not going to give us a fair shake. This was preordained, very much an activist judge that is trying to do policy from the bench, the governor said. Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Caver called the ruling a victory for freedom, local communities, and the environment. Most importantly, it is a victory for the families who have endured unimaginable hardship because of what happens at this facility, Caver said. The people who have been held here, the detainees have faced conditions that have shocked our community, our nation, and in fact, the world, conditions that have betrayed the very values that define America. Around 400 people are still detained at Alligator Alcatraz, the mayor said, adding that she doesn't know the exact number since she hasn't been permitted to enter the facility. The outcome of the state's planned appeal and whether the facility will be permanently closed remain uncertain. We can't predict exactly what will happen. They have appealed other rulings by Judge Williams that have not been sustained, Caver said. In this case, it's on environmental basis and hopefully, higher courts will sustain her ruling. Legal expert Michael Romano, director of the Three Strikes Project at Stanford Law School, says what happens next hinges on the outcome of the appeal. A preliminary injunction is just that. It's preliminary. They usually stand up, but let's say the appeal fails, Romano told CNN. It's not the end of the story. They would then go for what's called a permanent injunction, and they'll appeal that. So it's going to drag on for a while. It remains to be seen whether the DeSantis administration will fall in line with the injunction's demands, including halting new detainee arrivals and tearing down the mandated infrastructure as ordered by Williams, or if they'll resist. If you defy a court order, you can be held in contempt, and I think there have been a number of circumstances within the new Trump administration where they have tested the court's willingness to impose a contempt order, Romano said. The administration definitely tests limits, but they don't always go over them, he added. I think it's safe to predict that they will test the limits of this court if they can't get the decision reversed. Inhumane facility serves as model for other immigration detention centers. Members of Congress and state representatives who were given a limited tour last month to inspect conditions described the facility as inhumane, with detainees packed into cages, wall-to-wall humans, 32 detainees per cage. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who represents Florida's 25th congressional district, said at the time. Each cage contained 3 small toilets with attached sinks, which detainees use for drinking water and brushing their teeth. Lawmakers were concerned about reports of unhygienic conditions due to toilets not working and feces being spread everywhere, but were denied access from viewing units where migrants are currently detained and were not permitted to view the medical facilities, Representative Maxwell Alejandro Frost, who was also on the tour, said. Despite criticism and reports of harsh conditions, Alligator Alcatraz is serving as a model for other states to establish similar facilities, including the Deportation Depot in northern Florida, as well as additional immigration detention centers in Indiana and Nebraska. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.